At some point in our lives, we've all felt unmotivated. Maybe you feel that way now, or perhaps you feel that way every day. And the problem is, without motivation, it's pretty difficult to get started on pretty much anything, as the word motivation derives from the Latin term movere, which means to move. So motivation quite literally means moving towards something, and that something is usually a version of your life which is better than the current one. So if we know the destination is worth it, then why do we still feel unmotivated to get started and take consistent action? To answer this, you need to understand the 4 types of motivation. The first 2 are intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is defined as doing an activity which feels inherently interesting, enjoyable, or satisfying. For example, if you enjoy playing basketball, then you don't need much motivation to get yourself on the court. Just a message from a friend will be enough to get you to jump out of bed. On the other end of the spectrum, we have extrinsic motivation. This is motivation driven by external rewards, such as money, fame, grades, or anything which will improve your social status. The most common example being doing a job you don't intrinsically enjoy, but the extrinsic factors keep you going, in most cases, for your entire working life. In simple terms, you need to pay the bills, and that's enough extrinsic motivation to get yourself on an overcrowded train first thing in the morning and stare at a screen for 8 hours a day. But intrinsic and extrinsic motivation are closely linked to the 3rd and 4th type of motivation, pain and pleasure. The pain of being sacked from your job is perhaps why you can't keep snoozing your alarm in the morning. But the pleasure of finishing an entire season of Squid Games can keep you up till early hours of the morning, even when you know you've got to wake up for work in just a few hours, as somehow you'll manage to wake up on time because the pain of not doing so is too high. And this is a key point to note. Pain is usually a more powerful motivator than pleasure. This is why we struggle to quit bad habits if the only motivating factor is driven by pleasure, for example, looking or feeling better. However, as soon as there is a serious health scare, most people go cold turkey and turn things around pretty quickly, because the pain of suffering is far greater than the pleasure of your bad habits. And equally, intrinsic motivation is usually more sustainable and long-lasting than extrinsic motivation alone. The ultimate motivation to act towards your goals comes when you combine all 4 elements and use them to your advantage. For example, you find an activity intrinsically rewarding, let's say playing the piano. You then link some extrinsic motivation, like teaching students who are willing to pay you. The pleasure of playing and teaching is already pretty high, but this combined with the pain of never being able to express your creative freedom and being stuck in a dead-end job is enough motivation to get you started. Even if that means you only have 1 student at the start and your monetary growth is slow, because intrinsic motivation will always outweigh extrinsic motivation. And if you want it bad enough, the pain of not starting will outweigh the pleasure of playing it safe. So if you want to start feeling motivated, associate massive pain to not getting started and make the intrinsic activity the goal itself, like playing a sport you love. The extrinsic reward, like losing weight, will take care of itself, and any progress made will further fuel your motivation, making this loop stronger over time. As the Olympian Jim Ryan once said, motivation is what gets you started, habit is what keeps you going.